this is because the Nico Nocturne combo is so threatening, and obviously they're playing the Ezreal relatively safe AD carry, but playing into Lissandra Nico Nocturne is just nightmare fuel, literally.
I mean, I think that Gen.G could still play Renekton. It's a little bit tricky here. There's obviously the ability to play Tristana, which we've seen in the past, which gives you an additional AD carry threat. And I mentioned earlier, they left the Nautilus up. So
I think just MF Nautilus, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
It is definitely something I expected to see banned, and we didn't see that. We saw the Sivir, then we saw the Nico. They pivot, and it's going to be Unara Lulu.
All right, well, Chovy has your Lulu. If they do want to pick it away, that's going to be where it has to go. I don't know whether that is going to be the case.
I don't think so.
And Faker has had a lot of experience with Lulu mid, as it's still one of his most played champions, even though it's fallen out of the meta a very long time ago. He did have to play it many, many times. That's the Aurora that you were talking about. But that's a gangplank.
Keen is one of the picks we've seen from Keen and
they lock it in!
Keen and Keenan are the two players in our region who love to play this into the Gnar more than anyone else. It gives you a lot of extra scaling damage and a global threat.
Just makes it so hard to sort of skate around the battlefield as a Unara as well.
But also gives a second very real threat to Gen.G. So regardless of what their mid pick is, there's so much single target focus from T1, and you're going to have the Gangplank as a second target you have to take down who has those oranges to cleanse on a Lissandra ult, for example. They go for the Ahri, not a matchup that typically you would see picked into the Lissandra, but we have seen it was specifically Lissandra Nocturne played into Zeka's Ahri earlier this weekend, and he managed to evade a lot of the threat quite effectively.
In this meta, I'm never a fan of Zilean. If you res your AD carry dies a second time every time. We've seen Zilean work well, I think, in solo lanes.
Should be a lot going in Gen.G's way, unless Faker can get the better of Chovy, who kind of self-counterpicked himself in this one. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for T1's match point. Gen.G, they can take us to Silver Scrapes with a victory here. T1, they could just punch their ticket to Daejeon right now and be our second seed, meaning that our first seed from regular season would be the first one going, and then our second from the regular season will also be going. There's something nice about that, I guess. But Gen.G not wanting to go out without a fight. As now Canyon walking up towards Oner here, steals away the Raptor camp, gets level 2, and sends Oner packing.
What did Ox just say? Early games in Zao, gonna feel pretty good in the Nocturne.
Yeah, completely cuts Oner out of this portion of his jungle, and Oner's going to immediately make his way up to match, but he's already behind in tempo quite significantly. And my concern right now isn't really for Oner. It's for T1's bot lane, who might end up getting pushed on the tower. They're cut off from their jungler. Could we end up seeing a potential level 3 dive come in? We've seen it before plenty of times this LCK season.
It certainly could happen. And they set it up with a level 1. They cleared the ward. They did everything right. They had all full information about what T1 was starting here, so they knew they could find and interact with the Nocturne and set up for that potential dive here. Level 2 reached for Ruler and Duro on the bottom side as they continue to stack this massive wave up. Oner is going to, like you say, be able to cross-map here and try to get something back, but he will not be here for any potential defense. It's still, early game, it's still, heal and barrier available for pays, so it looks like they're not going to opt for this, but did dare to wonder.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some level 1s, some Ezreal Karma just completely blow out the lane, and I think the fact that Pays and Keria are doing okay in the 2v2, even though they are being pressured, does mean that we're not going to see that early dive, but definitely a scary situation to be in with the prospect there.
Yeah, you can see King getting pushed in towards his top side. It's not fun in the early levels, absolutely, but can certainly get better as the game goes on. It's more about the scaling for the Gangplank rather than anything else, and the impact that your ultimate can have globally as this game goes on. As Keria going to get poked down here by Gen.G, and this has been afforded to them by Canyon. That one play around the Raptors gives them full bot lane control.
Keen just trying to bide his time here in the early parts of this matchup. Start to get a few more points in his abilities as...
Nice job. Wow. They're going to connect there. Electrocute goes off for Chovy. And Faker not dead just yet, but is certainly under a lot of pressure here. As Chovy's sidestepping so many of these Qs very, very nicely as well.
Canyon was ready to do something on that play, but instead he's just going to look to start these Raptors up and continue the jungle dominance.
Oner has no smite.
Yeah, so Canyon should be able to take this one if he would like to. There it is. Smite does come on through. As the heal comes down, Polymorph is in. Canyon is going to do the walk maneuver.
Greater heals there, the movement speed allowing Canyon to get away after stealing those Raptors, so he's feeling pretty good, and would you believe Oner going straight to Canyon's Raptors in return?
Well, that'll do it. Should be able to take those ones down. Keen is looking a little worse for wear, but he gets the cannon. So honestly, what more could you want?
You know, it's interesting because there was definitely a resurgence of Gangplank when Death by a Touch came into the game. The trading power of that rune, really extreme on the back of the parlay, but obviously has been nerfed a good amount since it was released and now doing magic damage, but Keen just opting for the grasp in this situation.
Yeah, I do think that it works a lot better too when you're playing against a melee champion. And
I think a lot of things do.
Yeah.
I do think that in this matchup here, you're not going to be getting that much grasp early, but Canyon's going to cover this top side and should be able to put Oner down here.
Yeah, Oner really wanted to stop the back. He did do that. But Keen is obviously able to teleport back in whenever he would like to. Meganar is going to be hit here by Doran, as that is a lot of damage onto Pays. Mystic Shot's landing, but he's also able to turn it. Barrier, the flash, and Ruler's just dead! Nothing he could do, and he opted in for that!
The Arcane shifted forward, and the thing with this Ezreal Karma, you have poke for days, you have the harass, but when you get caught in to a full all-in, there's minions in the way, the passive is stacked up for the Inara, you don't have as much sustained damage. With your Q's not there, what can you do?
Yeah, when the Q is up for Pays, the sustained damage isn't there. The base auto damage isn't there for the Ezreal, where it is absolutely there for the Unara. You never win those, especially because the Lulu also has more consistent damage than the Karma when those abilities are on cooldown. And a massive, massive misjudge there for Ruler and Duro. And Pays is the kind of guy who will opt into those every time. If you're not sure, Pays absolutely is. He's got a call in his inventory. He gets first blood.
And this was also a point of power that Gen.G had to manufacture in this game. And for an unforced error to push that back in T1's favor without them needing to invest anything more.
Just a punish
means so much.
A punish attempt on the root. You know, it's so rare to get a root onto a target like this. And I think Ruler was just like, I don't know, he just fully instinctually was like, well, I punished that. And then instantly just realized, I think, that he had made a huge mistake.
All the minions in the way as well, not only blocking the Mystic Shots, but also you just taking minion damage on top of it. Just not the best play from Ruler, and gonna put this lane in a pretty rough position because now tier 2 boots completed for Pays. Having early tier 2 boots into a skill shot heavy lane feels so good.
Not to mention you stack your Q so much faster with the Greaves here for Pays.
Yeah, and if you look in comparison, Ruler doesn't even have a Sheen, which is a big factor in getting those favorable short trades.
Now Cannon Barrage is going to try and pin this wave out for Keen. I think was worried about a potential dive opportunity. As Faker going to get spotted moving over towards Canyon now. Chovy obviously able to follow as the Claw gets Faker out of there. And Oner is not really interested in contesting this, although T1
6 now.
moving their bottom lane up, and now the Paranoia comes in, and Canyon's just dead. No level 6 available, and he is just going to die.
This was so well played by T1. They know they can slow this down. Cannon Barrage is used defensively on top, so they don't have it for the fight. Oner is calculated. The team rotates over at the exact same time he's finishing that buff to hit 6 to ult in, and now he's going to secure this dragon.
And I think in Canyon's mind, he's constantly trying to keep Oner down by denying him camps, but every time it happened, Oner just slinked over to Canyon's jungle and took some himself.
Oh, Doran taking a lot of damage here from Keen, and the trial by fire is dangerous. The parlay's not enough, and the is Gen.G able to get a kill over to Ruler, which is also so important to bring him back into the game. Oh, and now Trophy looking for an angle. Self-ult from Faker will keep him alive. Get that health bar back up again, but ulti's now traded between mid laners as well.
It's a nice influx of gold. Keen getting to push the tower in, getting a plate, the kill going to Ruler. But more than anything, I feel like that kill is just a big morale boost for Gen.G.
I was going to say, the vibes gained back is certainly more important.
Absolutely. Oner here is going to be looking to take these grubs away. Doran isn't here to defend, though.
Yeah, Uro is just wrapping around, looking for Oner, who still will get snared. When becomes lightning, he's going to be eaten by the spell shield, though.
Yeah, the backup not quite there for Gen.G. They forced Oner away, but respecting the fact that Keria was moving in and Faker was on the map while Chovy was resetting. We'll get the replay.
Look at this Oner on the left side here. Faker gets out. They're buying time because Keria and FaZe have Prio and rotate over. Level 6 is here for FaZe. It's an easy call to make to commit both ultimates there, blow up the jungler, and the fight is won. There's no way that Ruler can make a longer fight happen there. Here, Doran going a bit too far forward, finds himself on the wrong side of this barrel.
Yeah, he hops in, and then he wards the brush after Keen has switched brushes, so does manage to make his way out initially, but then the true shot takes him out.
I think he was trying to hit Faker, because he hit Faker in mid lane as well, and then was very shocked when he managed to also kill Doran.
High value, you know, just fire it up through the middle of the map. If you hit, you hit.
Not bad at all. We're going to say calculated, even though now we know officially that it was kind of an accident as Cannon Barrage goes down. Faker comes in, though, and Keen going to need to eat a lot of damage. He does! Doran's dead, and Keen stays alive! It's a solo now.
Where did he be?
What?
Why would he do that? Term is up! Faker, what was that?
What? Huh? Oh, he tried to... Did he try to flash and press TP instead?
That could be it. That could be it. I'm going to go with that could be it.
I'm unsure. I think we can all agree that is not what he wants to happen.
Well, yeah.
All of a sudden, this is a game state where Gen.G have pulled ahead in gold. Chovy picks up a kill. Keen already got one earlier. He defends the dive there. And all of the advantages for T1 are washed away. Outside of the dragon, of course, which is permanent, but a bit bizarre here is the turret ramp is what really starts to do them in.
Yeah, I mean, the instant response from Keen with the ult, and then he has the oranges for the fear. There's no ult from Faker. So initially, the Gnar goes down.
I think he just thought that was his best chance of getting out. There's no way he was trying to flash there. That wouldn't make any sense.
I don't know. It feels to me like if he just keeps walking.
The walk strategy seemed promising there.
Yeah. I think it must have been an unforced error, unfortunately, there for Faker.
I mean, you can't cancel TP, not for a long time, so once it's pressed, you're just a sitting duck.
Yep. So, Gen.G now with a slight gold advantage, but I feel like both teams, there's been some mistakes. I feel like the pressure of this series has been getting to both of them. Ruler with the miscalculation in the early game, Faker with the weird teleport in the top lane. No one is infallible in this series so far, and this is not a large lead by any means. And I'm looking down at the champions that are ahead. And Unara being 700 gold up is a scary prospect, as Chovy going to look for Faker here, but doesn't find the orb.
It's scarier when you consider that she'll, in 13 minions' time, have a Cole's worth of gold advantage additionally over Ruler to push him up to 1,000. So, very, very strong Unara. A lot of great setup.
Scary now, though, is Keen has got Essence Reaver, so mana problem's no longer a thing. He can just trade heavily with Doran. He's approaching that level 13 big GP power spike. And at this point, he can just walk up to him and spam Q, and there's not much Doran can do about it.
Yep. This is where the matchup sort of turns, and you're probably sitting at home, you're like, oh, well, why did he pick this? He's just been like, you know, getting pushed in lane over and over again. Well, this is why. As now Faker in a lot of trouble, takes the claw, gets to safety, and does have now a lot of his health bar missing.
Yeah, you are Lissandra, so you're inherently somewhat safe with your ult and your claw, but he doesn't have TP, so having to back here is really going to hurt, especially with this dragon spawning right now. It looks like we're going to have maybe one dragon apiece here. See the back of FaZe right now as Canyon starts this dragon up, and Gen.G get a huge win here as Faker was concerned about Prio on the dragon, and he found out he didn't have it.
Oh dear. This is not where you want to be backing, as Oner is on a ward and is therefore going to be interrupted. That is going to guarantee that this dragon goes over to Gen.G. As teleport back to the top lane from Doran, they are not interested in looking for that one. True Shot Barrage is not going to quite find the interruption there onto FaZe. And it is going to be a Ocean Soul. I kind of felt like that was what was going to happen. I believe the first two Drakes, yeah, Infernal and Hextech. So they're very cool ones.
Hey, look at all the items that just came through that would have been nice to have.
Yeah.
For that dragon is the Hex Plate, the Kraken Slayer, and the Ardent Censer are all bought as the dragon is taken.
We're kind of learning why they didn't decide to fight for that one.
Yeah.
The wallets were a little heavy, needed to get to the shops before they really wanted to make anything happen. Level 11 here for Doran, as Faker is able to get himself away from this outer turret in the bottom lane. And a bit of a park in mid lane. Ruler obviously wanting to hit that Manamune spike as soon as possible. And there will be a moment, even though the Ezreal is 1,000 gold behind, where he will be stronger than Pays. And we'll see whether Gen.G can leverage that.
Potentially. If he hits that 2 items and this lead is maintained, then yeah, that can be a point where you're stronger. But if Pays pulls ahead further...
Yes. If he then kills all of Gen.G and buys an Infinity Edge, I would say that Pays would be then ahead.
You know what? I would agree. But
sometimes it's good to point out the obvious, though.
I think there's more to it than which items the AD carries are holding. It's how the fights are set up, who has vision.
It's not the items you have, it's how you use them, Wolf? Is that what you're saying?
How your teammate sets you up to use them when you're the AD carry, because sometimes you don't get to do anything on your own. You have to be given some help, as that was a great charm. Chobi's been popping off on this pick into a counter pick.
Yeah, that is probably a dead Duro. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
So just in case Duro wanted a flash, he probably would have died anyway, but just in case he wanted to, he didn't get a chance.
No.
Flash polymorph from Keria. They're like, we are killing this guy no matter what. And definitely ensured that one.
Absolutely did. That is going to mean in 23 seconds time that T1 will have control around this Herald. I do feel like it was perhaps a little bit of an overinvestment, as Keen is going to get ulted and then presses oranges.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre as well there.
He is not the target that you want to hit with a Frozen Tomb. Let's just say that.
Yeah, a lot of resources expended from T1, and now we have the Herald up and available. Your Lulu doesn't have Flash. You're down 4 ultimates. And they're the big ones, actually, because even though Gnarl is big, it has like a tiny cooldown, so you can kind of spam it. So I think T1 not going to be able to contest this Herald at all with how many they've expended.
And not to mention the barrage means that Keen can use it without even joining the fight. And because he has TP, he can join the fight, but he can make an impact without that.
Yeah, Gen.G should be confident here.
Yeah, and I mean, Faker does have teleport, but Keen has Cannon Barrage. So if T1 are going to try and walk through this choke, they could have cannons.
I like this choice. Pays has made the right choice. He's just going to keep pushing with his cannon wave here to try to get some plate damage done. And he won't be able to do what a Herald does, but he can do a little bit.
I think a big factor is T1 posturing just to make sure Gen.G did group up so Pays does get access to the tower. If you just don't send anyone a Herald, they'll just have people in mid defending, as they do now.
Oh, Canyon.
The ult back up, by the way.
As the ulti plays a little bit of Nocturne tennis as he does flash his way over the wall, but the eye is going to get taken here by Keen. He's fighting against Pays, but Keria is there to back him up. I have a feeling that this gangplank is not going to live, and he is going to go down. That is going to be the kill onto Doran, though, as now Faker is in a lot of trouble buying time, but it's a double for Ruler. He finally goes down, though, as Chobi looks for the angle, but doesn't find it, and Pays kills the rest of them. Quadra kill for the Inara.
This huge cleanup from the AD carry of T1. 7-0-0 now on the Unara, and Gen.G in shambles after that fight. T1 didn't contest the Herald because they didn't have the ults, but the aftermath, as they came up, they saw a window and Pays was unleashed.
I'll take late game win condition coming early for 700, Alex. 7-0-0.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of manifested this. I don't want to take responsibility, but I do feel like we should be a little bit careful.
Initially, it looks like the teleport timing here and the angle for the teleport is super disjointed, and that T1 have really misjudged this situation. But when you look at how the fight breaks out here, Faker buys a bunch of space, but Pays is alive, and Faker, as he dies, does so much damage that Pays is ready to go in here and finish it off. Flashes over, has the barrier, and knows he has the damage, and there's just not any outplay opportunity here. Nice try comes through from the Arya and the Karma, but he just cleans it up a Quadra, and this guy just keeps doing this. He keeps getting the Quadras, he keeps getting the Pentas, he waits for his moments, and he seizes them well.
And you know, Doran and Faker, Doran getting a 3-man ult in that choke, and then Faker following up, doing all that damage to set it up. T1 in a winning position right now, but still looking to set up for this dragon, and Gen.G trying to approach.
Yeah, see whether Gen.G have some fight left in them. Cannon Barrage back up and available. In fact, every ultimate is there apart from Doran's. His Boomerang also running away. Pays taking a lot of damage here as the Rift Herald. They catch him! And they they catch him! Keria in trouble as well, as he will be taken out by Canyon, and he has the Crescent Guard there as well. They take out the turret. Faker with the self-ult, but he'll just be taken out as look at all this essence that Chovy's built up from all of these kills, and T1 throw it all the way back to Gen.G.
We've had caster curses, but I feel like this was a player curse.
Yeah.
I
Set
did not.
himself up so well.
I did not take responsibility for this one.
That
That's
was a
on
player
him.
curse.
You know what,
right
maybe
there.
we shouldn't say anything. Maybe we should just say commentary noises, so that we can't be blamed for anything.
He was the one who got the kills. He was the one who looked infallible. He was the one who had the great judgment. They had the angle, though. The late Herald drop, and he just completely gets...
Wait, Oner.
Oh, not able to get that, but that is Ruler
Okay.
that locks it down. Canyon was walking to the top lane.
If he'd stolen that, would have been pretty insane. But yeah,
Watch Pays.
the thing is, he ults, but he got slowed going into it. So even with the dash, you can't get out. And then he was just already dead, basically before Chovy touched him, but he just finishes him off.
The Essence Flux was on him when he got hit by the True Shot Barrage as well. Just everything was lining up.
You know, when you get 7 kills on a Yunara this early in the game, it feels great, but there is a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. And I feel like FaZe maybe needed someone to say the Uncle Ben line to him.
Yeah, with great power. Yeah.
Comes a target on your back, and they got a lot of CC.
Yep.
And burst damage, as we saw there from Ruler.
Well, Pays is now, you know, he's going to learn from that one. He's still massively far ahead, but he's the only one on his team with an advantage. And once again, it's Chovy is massively far ahead, and so is Pays. It's happened in the last 2 games at this stage. Last time around, though, it was T1 that were able to get the better of Gen.G. We'll see whether Gen.G can play it better this time to bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Now they have that third item for Pays, because until he purchased it, it was like, I have a massive gold lead, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything right now until that item is
exactly what you were talking about has occurred, Ox, as well.
Realist hit his 2 items, which normally feels great, but Pays is on 3 because he got 4 kills in that earlier fight, so
yeah,
not very fair.
So I will cancel talking about the 2 item spike for the Ezreal this time around. It's one of my favorite things to talk about as well. I'm very sad. That's okay. King going to be able to take down this outer turret in the bottom lane. Faker going to return the favor on the top side of the map.
T1, a lot of Baron control right now. A lot of vision control on the entrance to the river. Quite tempting to start this one up with this 3-item Yunara, but instead they're going to set a trap. And Gen.G, like, don't take the bait at all.
You say that. Great charm is going to connect as the wild growth from Keria. That play was absurd! That is illegal. You're not allowed to do that as Keen turns up. And now the flash out. There's the Crescent Guard as Faker gets into the backline, finds the Frozen Tomb onto Keen as the Gnar comes back, but Faker is already dead. Ruler standing his ground and Pays taking matters into his own hands, but the barrel is just so big, and it's Ruler's turn to carry this time. Maybe I am allowed to talk about the item spikes because Ruler's
could be a
gonna build
penta.
the third as he picks up the triple. You best believe he was yelling penta, 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 but now they're yelling Baron, Baron, Baron.
They'll go for the Baron. A crazy play. It looks like Keria was quad, but he goes for possibly the most aggressive
sick.
Lulu play I've ever seen.
Always thinking about the wild growth on the Nocturne, but here he turns it and flash self-ults.
And then
the double
polymorphs Chovy after, so he can't ult away.
Exactly, and Oner's there to follow. But then they chase a bit deep with Faker on the Lissandra looking for the triple root here. Everybody's dashing through this cannon barrage. So much damage comes down, and then Pays again, steps forward, gets greedy, gets caught here by the barrel, and Canyon collapses through, and there's just too much damage. Oner can't escape, and now Gen.G turned what was an incredible play from Keria into a winning trade and a Baron.
My lord, this series is... And I kind of want to talk about something that you mentioned. I don't know whether you wanted to mention it on broadcast, Wolf, but you were like, this is the first phenomenal series that we've had, and it continues to deliver.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, after the first great game we had, which was game 2, I was like, well, that was the first real game we had at this whole
Yeah, and you were excited. You're like, I got my one game. I'm very happy. It's been a great
And we
season.
got a series right, and that's good. I could walk out of this happy, but ooh.
All right, Drew doesn't have flash, so he's very dead. It's just going to be taken out. That is going to take some of the wind out of the Gen.G sails, as this Rebel Baron power play was already not exactly powerful.
So even though they will have him back up for that next dragon, he's the one who needs to be there setting up vision. So it does mean T1 can just push in and contest any of this vision in the Dragon area.
All right, 34 seconds.
80 carries with massive advantages that they shouldn't ordinarily have. Like, I mean, not obviously the advantage is Pays over his opposition, but both 80 carries have more gold
Yeah,
than
this
you're
is the thing.
supposed to have. They're
You're looking at it and
accelerated.
you're like, oh, Pays' lead isn't that big. He mustn't be that big. But that's because Ruler is now huge as well.
Yeah, he has endless hunger at 23 minutes, which is not actually natural.
Especially not when his opponent is 9-2.
Yes.
You'd think that perhaps Ruler would be a little bit further behind. That
And
is not
it's
the
a cool
case.
storyline we talked about earlier about how these players just constantly replaced each other on each other's teams, and the I don't want to say rivalry, but relationship that they have as a result of that, and probably pride that they have to want to try to defend their legacy against each other. It's very epic to see how this game has turned out, as this Dragon will ultimately go over to Gen.G. It's Soul Point for Ocean Soul, which isn't the most exciting, but is certainly something.
Yeah, even with the pick on Aduro, T1 just don't opt to prioritize it. Keep Faker up in the top lane. He didn't have TP when the Dragon got started. It is up now, though. And Doran was down in the bot lane, although obviously pretty close to the Dragon. So they'll just continue to buy time. The Red Bull Baron power play
Is 0.
it's actually plus 52.
Sorry, it feels like 0. I don't think 52 gold is all that important. Canyon took a red buff. That's going to move it to 150. True Shot Barrage is going to stop Keria from going home, and Keria doesn't really care about that one. So not a whole lot to come from this very early Baron, as you would expect from one taken this early in the game,
I think
in this current iteration of League of Legends.
now we have to think about which composition, as we get later and later, feels better to play, because both of these comps scale really well. You got GP Ezreal, right, and a Karma that's scaling up here, and then on T1 side, you have Yunara, and you have a Gnar, who can be a threat in side lanes. I think that there's more threats for T1, which is why I trust their scaling more. I think they have more ways and more consistent options to kill Ruler, to kill Keen, to kill Chovy. And the Karma being, kind of a big shield bot isn't necessarily going to make Pays too scared. It's more about Chovy, and he's the real one who has the extra damage, or Canyon, who could potentially get on top of Pays if he's overextending. I think right now, even 1,000 gold behind here, this is currently a favorable game state for T1 as a result of this, but we will see how this all pans out. Arm guards here for Chovy, which gives him some extra flexibility.
Hayes is quite strong.
Yeah, I think one thing, though, is that even though T1 have a lot of ways of getting on top of the carries, Gen.G do have a GP and an Ezreal, and even the Ahri has more sustained damage over a fight than Alessandra if you're getting the resets. If Pays dies, I think T1 just lose so much pressure. These last couple of fights have gone badly for them have been because Pays died. So all the eggs kind of feel like they're in the Pays basket, whereas Gen.G has a bit more insurance in case things go awry. It's really going to come down to that 80 carry for T1. He has to step up, get the damage down, but not step too far.
Yeah, this is the thing. He can feel that he has all of that responsibility, that he cannot let that force him into precarious positions like it did the last time around. True Shot Barrage lands on the Keria. Didn't like that. That took a lot of damage.
Shielded Pays, though. That's a true support.
There you go, beautiful.
This is a tense moment here, but a bit of a calm before the storm of this spawning Baron, this spawning Dragon, which would be Soul for Gen.G. So the IE is completed, and you can see that's a number, or rather an item above what Ruler has, but there's nothing to fight for, so it feels probably pretty frustrating for Pays, who's the solo gold lead here for T1, that isn't able to utilize that advantage right now, and Gen.G aren't going to give him that chance. We'll see if Ruler can't form up that fourth item before we do eventually get to these objectives here. He's 1,400 gold behind, but probably getting close to picking up that Shojin.
Yeah. Could be relatively soon, and that one is going to be ready. It is going to be Serpent's Fang done for Keen before he builds an Infinity Edge or anything like that, if the Gangplank would like. And
He's the reducer. He's got the healing reduction, the shield reduction.
yeah,
If he hits a barrel on Pays, he's got the health reduction.
yeah, he does definitely have.
We
health reduction.
certainly have had a few. If Pays gets hit by large damage numbers,
Yeah,
problem
he
games
be a prominent focus point in this game.
Yeah, they're not relying on consistent CC to hit the Yunara. They're relying on consistent death to hit the Yunara.
Death is the greatest CC.
It's pretty good. Cannon Barrage is also pretty good CC as well. So I think that Keen is his responsibility will be making sure that FaZe has an awkward circle to walk around in that makes him slow and does damage. But we'll just have to see how these fights are going to be set up, because Gen.G, oftentimes in these moments, are very good at just building a gold lead. Right now, this 800 gold, this minuscule advantage that they've had, has been held for such a long time. And you guys were talking about scaling. I think that by the looks of things, T1 are just very happy to let this game go late and be better in team fights, because that's how they've won quite a few of their more recent games.
And it's certainly been the case. We've had a lot of comebacks throughout this tournament, and this gold lead is so tiny. But T1 have a lot of tools. They're going to have to pick their moment correctly. Speaking of, we're going to have that TP in for Chovy here as the dragon starts to spawn. Faker will match it after buying as he finishes his back right now.
Yep, Ocean Soul on the cards here for Gen.G. True Shot Barrage going to be avoided by Doran. As Keria
Keria is so important here, is Wild Growth, how he chooses to use it. Does he
honestly, one barrel can be the end as FaZe goes in. There's a Paranoia as well. Cannon Barrage goes down, but not a lot of value coming from that one as Keria still able to get a lot of damage from the grave, but he will go down. And T1, can they get back in? Wind becomes lightning, Doran stays alive. And Gen.G, I think they're going to have to give this one up. I don't think the game is worth one Ocean Dragon.
I don't think so.
Faker did reset, doesn't have TP, so just trying to run back over here. FaZe trying to get the red buff and heal up off it.
Doran didn't get a whole lot out of this Mega Gnar.
Well, he flashes,
he's doing it now.
Does get a single person ultimate, but Chovy will
hit yet.
Yeah, going to help Ruler grab that kill. Now Keria just goes down, the True Shot Barrage does a lot of work, and Faker turns up alongside FaZe, but T1 have 2 dead. That's going to be the soul.
That's not what I meant, Doran, that you just get a lot of the Mega. Didn't mean you had to try to get something out of the Mega.
Despite the fact T1 get the numbers advantage, it felt like, oh
dear, they're looking for another angle. Great spell shield there from Oner. He's able to block the charm from Chovy, as Faker not quite able to find the slow from the Q. Gen.G slinking back towards the Baron. Teleport in from the gangplank. And Chovy looks for it again.
I mean, they're on Baron. He's just trying to keep them at bay as they finish this one off. It's down
Oner
to 75.
has ultimate, though, if he really wants to go for it.
It's vision, though.
Does he have health bar? That's the problem. As Keria, these barrels just do so much damage. 4 seconds until he does have the Cannon Barrage back up, and that is second Baron over to Gen.G.
And I want to talk about this real quickly.
You can take your time, I think.
Yeah, because we're going really early into this one. The Wild Growth usage here is great again. But when we get to the part where Doran goes in, it's not that his choice to go in itself is wrong. It's just that FaZe isn't here, right? There isn't follow-up damage. They don't have their combos and tools. So he goes in, and then FaZe is like...
well, Yunara without ultimate as well, just doesn't really do as much.
Over the wall.
If everybody was together there and the targets were a little bit lower, sure. But it just felt super forced there. And Gen.G were already going to get the dragon if he doesn't do it, but then they get an extra kill. They turn it into a Baron, and this Baron looks like it's about to be way more relevant than the last.
Well, they're looking for an angle here as Canyon just presses Crescent Guard. So that is going to be ultis traded for the junglers, but also FaZe. He pressed his R button. He's not going to have that for the next little while. And Gen.G, they take down the inner turret here on the top side in this Rebel Baron power play. This time around, it is looking like it's pretty charged up. As Faker able to take the Claw to get himself to safety. They kind of wish that their inhibitor turret could have also taken the Claw to get to safety, because it's not looking very safe at all. FaZe still doing a lot of damage as Canyon in trouble. Faker is just dead.
A charm from Chovy means he can't ult, he just goes down before he gets a chance.
Oh my goodness, and this Cannon Barrage means that there's no ability to try and follow up on anything at all. The poke damage from Gen.G just kind of ridiculous.
They're trying to end this game right now with the whittling down of these turrets. 3 cannon minions charged up. They just can't clear them.
Yeah,
Chovy!
and the flash from Chovy not going to quite connect as they look for pace. He still almost dies. To Ruler is keen, wanting to get the barrels down. Doran charges up that Mega Gnar. He throws the house around, but the base is now exposed. The Nexus will just be focused here by Gen.G. And cue the Silver Scrapes. We're going to 5.